Okay, now being 1 o'clock, I hereby call the December 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Plympton Board of Selectmen to order. This meeting is being recorded for public viewing by Area 58. The recording is not considered an official record of the board. The approved minutes of the meeting will serve as the official record of the proceedings. Our first agenda item this afternoon is the liquor, common victualler, and range license renewals for 2026.
Okay. So, for the liquor license, we're gonna do the Upland Sportsman's Club and their range permit. So we have that.
Good?
Yes, they were the only alcohol one that's left to do. And then for the class 2, 3, and scrap metal, we have Albee Salvage, Angels Auto Parts Inc., Bridge Bike, Carry Auto Inc., Competition Auto Body, Motorsports, and Plympton Cycles.
All right.
And that is it.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
And these are all the licenses. Do you want to sign them later? Do you want to sign them now? It's up to you. There's 2 for each, because one will be the license and one will be the conditions. And Angels Auto Parts has a class 2, 3, and a scrap metal.
Okay. And we'll sign those at the end.
Okay, very
Just
good.
over here. Okay, I make a motion to approve the aforementioned licenses for 2026 with all of the same conditions as previously established.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on. We'll be entering into the IMA with Kingston Halifax Regional Clinician Services.
So this is a collaborative effort that's been going on between the 3 towns and the 3 police departments. The town of Kingston had received grant funding, and their plan is to work with the other 2 towns and bring in a regional health clinician that can do like mental health calls and that sort of thing. We had a similar program in place once before with Carver that was very successful. Our plan to cover our portion would be to utilize opioid settlement funds. Town council is working on the agreement on behalf of the 3 communities. It's also, there was something else I wanted to say about it. So my only question about it, which I posed to council and I'm waiting for a response, but I think it's fine to move forward today with saying we're amenable to entering into such agreement. I just want to be certain that if for some reason they don't continue to get their grant funding, and then our portion was going to be a lot more, that, we don't want it to exhaust all of our opioid settlement money. So I think that for now, we would want to put kind of some parameters around it. So today you would not be signing anything. It would just be more or less a vote to enter into the IMA, that it makes our intentions known, that we're willing to participate, subject to availability of the opioid settlement funds.
So we're exploring the possibility, but we still have the right to refuse if we don't like the terms.
Correct. And I will be coming back before you with a finalized agreement that gets approved by council. And you would also have an opportunity at that point too, if something didn't seem favorable.
And this professional would be
A Kingston employee.
right, but it wouldn't be replacing any first responder, it would be an
No.
adjunct
It's,
to
yes,
those people.
exactly. And if they thought that somebody could benefit from it, even sometimes, I know when we had the former program with Carver, there were sometimes that person could be really helpful for like follow-up services.
Right.
Like say if there were a particular type of call that our first responders go on, and then somebody in a situation said, you know, I need some help with this or with that, or getting in touch with advocacy services or whatever that is, so that person could be helpful with that. A lot of it's honestly the follow-up that ensues. When I said I wanted to add something else, it's because we have it on here, but it's sort of in two different places. We have it on the agenda as far as entering the IMA, and then I also have it on here regarding using the opioid settlement funds. So if we want to consider that all at once, our startup cost would be $4,521. It might be a little confusing how I did that on the agenda with the two different things, but, so a little over $4,500. Halifax would be paying roughly double that, and Kingston is taking the lead on the funding. This would get the program up and running, and we hope that the grant continues and that just a small contribution of opioid.
So it's through the end of this fiscal year? Or would-
Correct. So it did have, so the draft contract had an interim agreement term, which would take us through June 30th, and then it had another term. And I think we may want to revisit before signing on for another term. I just want to make sure that if for some reason there's an issue with the grant funding, that it's not like, oh, well, now our portion has increased substantially, and then if it's the type of thing where it would like use up all of our funds. Like, I don't know how much that would be to cover that sort of a salary for somebody. So I just would want to make sure we don't get
Now, is this in
forced
addition
into-
to our participation in the Plymouth County Outreach Program? or
Yes, this is
okay.
different than
Okay.
that.
So this is
yes.
on top of that, because as I
Yes.
understood, with Plymouth County Outreach, they're providing clinicians with that as well for follow-ups. And
Right.
that's exactly, sounds like kind of the same program, so.
It's very similar, but this would be exclusively for Kingston, Plympton, Halifax.
Is there a total cost for this?
No, right now, it's just the $4,521 proposed to be utilized via opioid settlement funds.
So basically, this would be today is just to have the intent to be involved in it with a further follow-up on what the cost is going to be, a projected cost, and how it's going to go for the long term.
Correct. Correct. We would want the final review and approval by town council on the agreement, but they didn't want to get too far along without having like an official, are we most likely interested in entering into this IMA and pursuing it?
Mr. Syeds, anything else?
I'm good, thank you.
And make a motion to enter the intermunicipal agreement with Kingston and Halifax for regional clinician services, subject to final review and approval by town council, and subject to availability of opioid settlement funds to cover Plimpton's participation.
A second.
All those in favor? Aye. And on to the opioid settlement funds request.
So there's a couple different requests here. There's one for materials for the LEAD program. These are educational supplies, some books for the kids at Dennett. The first invoice was for $115, and there's another invoice pending that's a similar amount. And then the second request is for the $4,521 to have that commitment be made. We are somewhat limited in scope as well, which I should mention, as far as proper uses of the opioid settlement funds. So when you have valid purposes that seem like they're gonna make a difference, it seems like this could be helpful and like a solid use of a portion of the funds.
know it changes, but how much do we realize every year in terms of the funds?
So at last check, we had received a bunch of different payouts, and it was like a little over 13,000. But they come sometimes like almost on like a rolling basis.
And they accumulate with those funds,
They
correct?
do,
Okay.
they do.
I'm sorry, Liz, how much were the books?
There was one invoice for 115, and then there's another invoice pending that I don't have the exact total, but it's roughly the same amount.
Mr. Science, anything?
All good?
Make a motion to authorize the police department to utilize opioid settlement funds to support lead program supplies and to authorize funding Plympton startup participation costs in the intermunicipal agreement with Kingston and Halifax for regional clinician services.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And moving on to appointments. We have two appointments. First one will be Emma Wick to the Agricultural Commission, 12/22 of 2025 to 6/30 of 2028. I believe she was fulfilling a position that was completely unfilled, correct?
Correct.
So kudos to her for stepping up on that. And Deborah Batson for Community Preservation Committee from 12/22 of 2025 to 6/30 of 2027. Make a motion to appoint the aforementioned individuals to the Agricultural Commission and Community Preservation Committee, respectively, for the terms noted.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And here you go.
And for warrants paid,
Okay. This is for November and December because we haven't had meetings. The total is $82,168.17.
all right, and town administrator updates?
Everybody has been busy working on their departmental budget requests. We had reached out to department heads and some boards and committees and requested both a level services budget and a level funded budget in the way of proposals. So those are beginning to come in now, and we should have something to report back more substantial in January.
Okay, thank you. And correspondence?
So we have a few things in correspondence. We have a Board of Selectmen's letter to the police chief, police department, command staff, and Plympton Police Association Local 276. This letter is dated November 17th, 2025, and this is in response to an email received from Chief All dated November 10th, 2025, and a letter from the Plympton Police Command Staff dated October 31st, 2025, and an undated letter from the Plympton Police Association. This letter, similar to the initial ones that we received, is a public document and will be kept on file in the Board of Selectmen's office should anybody wish to request a copy.
Can it be read into the record so that all the people at home can hear it?
That's up to the chair, but we did not read the initial letters into the record, so I think it might get taken out of context if we just read the response. We did not read the initial ones. We acknowledged them, and they are public documents, so anybody can request copies. It's up to our chairperson, but I would just think that where we didn't read the others,
I agree with that. If there wasn't one side, then there shouldn't be just the other side. so
Okay.
the public records.
How do you get a copy of it? If I could.
All of the requests have gone through Tara's office,
Yeah.
so through the clerk's office.
You can do it on the
US
website.
Clerk.
Is
the
it,
town
is it there
website.
now?
You can do it anyway.
You can request it from the town clerk and she
Yes.
will get it to you.
She has so many days, so it's a
Okay.
public records request, you request through her, she has so many days to reply to you. So she'll
Okay.
reach out to any department for any subject that it is that you are inquiring about.
Thank you.
Okay.
We have a letter here from the State Department of Conservation and Recreation. This is in regard to the Winnetoxet Road Pond Dam. They do need to update their emergency action plan, so my plan is to forward this to the Highway Department. I believe it was sent to them as well, but we'll make sure that they have a copy of it and that they are handling the required recording. We have a letter of resignation from Nancy Butler. She was resigning as the Council on Aging's representative to the Community Preservation Committee, and her seat was just filled a few moments ago by Deborah Batson. And Plympton's Community Choice Power Supply Program, this is the optional program so that people can save money on their energy costs. That program is still up and running. If anybody wants to opt out or has questions about the program, the information is given out typically by Colonial Power Group, and the information about this is on the website and it comes with your utility bill.
Is that something we have to renew annually, or is it just automatically roll over?
We have to renew it, so we recently renewed it,
Oh, good.
like a few months back.
Was I here?
Mark Russo typically used to take the lead on that. So this one should cover us through, this is January 2026 to November 2028. And anybody can opt in or out at any time by contacting Colonial Power Group. And that is all I have for correspondence.
All right. So we have the minutes from 11:05 and 11:17. And make a motion to approve both of those dates for the minutes.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I have one item here for financial reporting. This is the quarterly report that comes from the town accountant for you to sign off anytime funds get moved around. All of them were mostly grant reimbursements, meaning like, for example, expenses being moved from the police payroll account to the Comfort Dog grant account. So as money comes in for grant reimbursements, we reconcile those accounts. And then there were a couple on here that it looks like she paid out of the wrong accounts. So she's clarifying those. So if you don't mind, just, I'll add that to the pile just to sign.
And do we have a recap of where spending lies for,
We do not, I have not received one this month.
the last one I think we saw was 2 months ago?
I will
Concur, Mayor.
request that again for our first meeting in January.
Yeah, and if you could please stress that, I think the expectation is that we get it monthly.
Correct. That was the
That was
expectation.
the beginning of what it was.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to take that, or do you want me to give that to her?
What?
The sign folder.
It can go down to
Okay.
you, and I'll send you a photo.
I am gonna need you, this is the report that I sent to the ABCC,
Mhm.
with who renewed their license.
There's no place to sign on here? I don't, was that not
Oh,
supposed to
you
come?
might have just got it by, I gave
Probably
you
wasn't supposed
theirs,
to come.
That's all
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
part of
That's
this.
part
You signed it, it's right there.
Okay.
Right. That's the check.
Sorry, I just shouldn't have given you the check.
That's okay.
Thank you. I gave you everything, huh? Hello. Thank you.
All right, the dates to remember for upcoming Board of Selectmen regular open meetings will be January 12th and January 26th.
On the 12th, I have a doctor's appointment in Boston that morning, so if we could make it, if that could be like a 2 o'clock meeting instead of a 1 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Any comments or concerns? Mr. Wallace?
I have a question. There used to be on the agenda of the highlighted items, one that allowed for somebody to ask a question during open meetings. And I see that that's been eliminated. Is there a reason for that?
It was the clause that said that matters not anticipated by the chair may be brought up, discussed, or even voted upon at the meeting. That was kind of a catch-all choice of language that had been on the agenda for quite some time, but it seems to be like in conflict potentially with open meeting law. So it was removed, and council reviewed us removing that from the agenda.
How is it in conflict with open meeting laws? This is an open meeting.
Because it was viewed that it could be like a catch-all so that the board could technically talk about stuff and vote about things that weren't on the posted agenda. So like if you from home, for example, looked at the agenda and you thought we were talking about the things noted, and then you find out after the fact that something else got brought up and the board took action on it, it kind of flies in the face of the open meeting law. So
Okay.
council had recommended that we remove that language from the
Okay.
agenda.
So what is the procedure if I want to ask a question in the meeting? Because last time I was told that it wasn't appropriate because of that. Unless it was on the
Do you mean a
agenda.
question, like, so that you, like, something that you want to talk about at a meeting? You would email Bridgette with your request, and then the board would take it under advisement if they wanted to schedule it on an upcoming agenda as a topic or not.
How is that fair to the public?
Well,
If you wanna
if I
come in-
could interrupt,
wanna
I don't
come
mean
in
to
and
like
talk
step,
about
but we
something,
just had a
maybe
big
I would-
meeting, we had to have a big TPC meeting. We had a very long agenda,
Yeah.
so, there's X amount of time that we're putting to that topic, and we want people to have the opportunity to speak, but in the middle of the meeting, a group of people went down a road, and it became a topic that maybe a lot of people in town would have liked to have had in discussion. So now you're violating open meeting laws in that Bridgette sitting at home might see it later and say, well, I didn't know they're going to talk about that particular item, I would have been there. And it also kept us at the meeting X amount of time longer, because we were trying to get all these other pieces. So it's not, it gives you the ability to ask, I'd like to talk about walking dogs in Full Field. Could I go on the agenda for January? If you don't have 56 items on the agenda for January, sure, we can talk about it then. And then if other people see that, Mark, and then they say, yeah, I got an issue with that, they have the opportunity to be there as well. But if they don't know it's on the agenda and it comes up, somebody who has a different
Well-
opinion has missed out on that opportunity.
Okay. Here's a situation, I know you know about it. I asked to be on the agenda for the meeting at the beginning of November, and it was denied. And I don't think you should have denied it, because I had a legitimate question that I was directed by the town clerk to come officially to you, and it was denied.
Was this about the meeting time, Mark?
No, I was taken off the agenda. I was told that I was going to be on the agenda. I came the morning of the meeting was canceled, and I wasn't on the agenda. I was
But it
taken
was
off
for
the
the
agenda.
topic of the time of our meetings.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm trying, which has been discussed at multiple meetings, and they said they weren't discussing it
I
anymore.
know, but she asked me to come and make sure that I was on the agenda, because I wasn't on the agenda before.
Ah.
Yeah. She
As has
doesn't
already
set the
been said,
agenda.
we've discussed it a number of times, and as a board, we've discussed it and given an answer to it, so that's what the answer is on that. If there's been
Okay, well,
any misconstruing
I'm
of what
gonna
has been
do what I
happening.
need to do.
Excuse me, if there's been any misconstruement on where that went, then it's a miscommunication. But that particular issue has been addressed, and it was addressed in an open session, and
Okay.
it was entertained in an open session at that time.
Okay.
Anything further?
I don't know.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn this meeting of December 22nd, 2025, and our next meeting will be on the 12th of January.
Second.
Thank you. And all those in favor? Aye.